Good afternoon, good evening, and a very happy Sunday, guys. I hope everybody is having a fantastic weekend so far. It's been a weird one. I know I've had a very odd weekend, but that's okay. We are joined today by the beautiful My Nerdy Home. Steph, thank you
Hi,
so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm good. You warned me about how loud your intro was, dude. I loved it. The
Thank
intro
you.
is amazing. I was just jamming out to it. I was like, this is awesome.
Thank you. I like to give people a heads up, but yeah, I love the intro. Big thank you to Stone Loki who made that. Um, Thank you for joining us. Steph is one of the hardest working ladies on YouTube, and we were just kind of chatting in the green room before we went live, and she was telling me how hard she's been working. I was like, girl, oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
this morning was fun. I was modding Sports Wars while listening to two conversations. I was listening to Sports Wars, listening to John Bartello because they went live at the same time. And I have John's schedule. So I didn't know that he was going to go live today. He like sent me a text really quickly before he like maybe 20 minutes before he went live, and I was just like, "Oh no." So I was listening to both conversations, modding one, kind of chatting in the other, and marking down what clips I want to take out of John's stream to post on his two social media accounts, and then while working on like his channel memberships for his YouTube. So I was just like,
Multitasking.
I really
Gotta love
felt
it.
it. I felt it this morning.
So a nice, relaxed Sunday morning, then, really.
hmm Very, very relaxed. Drinking I think I need another mug of coffee because I had one this morning, but I can use another one or an energy drink, one or the other.
Yeah, there's just not enough coffee in the world
I
sometimes.
know. There's some mornings when I'm just like, God, I need another cup. I just need this one's just not enough. I need another one.
It just hasn't done what it should have done. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Let me just say hello to everybody in the chat because we've got some fantastic people who have joined us. We've got Chris Persia. Good to see you, Chris. We've got Punk Waddle. Hello. We've got Shane Nolan. Happy Dinosaur 8000. Good to see you. Let's see, we've got Keely Chow. Hey, Keely, roll tide. Good to see you. We've got Louise. Good evening, Louise. Hello, sweetheart. JPRPH1. Hey, honey. Shane Nolan. Great to see you. We have got Project Storytime, who claimed first.
I love when they claim. Yeah, I love when they claim first in their 10th. But I'm still like, yes, you were first. Definitely first. You claimed it. No one else before you claimed it. You are first.
They're everyone's first in my book. Everybody's equal. Kaylee D, hello, sweetheart. Mr. Buttcrack Media, great to see you as always. Always makes me smile, that name. Dave Bob, and we've got Leia Rose. Hello, sweetheart, as well. Good to see you. So, Steph, first of all, let me say congratulations. You guys are doing incredibly well. I was looking, I've been avidly going through all of your videos at the moment. I loved your breakdown of Cobra Kai.
Oh, best show right now. And it's amazing Cobra Kai how much it respects the three previous movies, and I feel like that has to do with like the creators and the showrunners and everything, because they actually like the Karate Kid movies and they know the lore. And when you have it's amazing when you have someone who actually loves it. They love what they're writing about. What a great product that they can produce to audiences. And I love Cobra Kai. I absolutely love it. I love this past season was probably the best one so far, with because they brought in Carrie Silver. Silver is one of my favorite Karate Kid characters because he's just straight up evil. He's just a villain. He's a straight up villain, and he's someone who's just not tied to anyone. He's not really tied to Daniel. He's not tied to Miyagi, as we like kind of saw, because in the first movie Daniel took on his bullies. In the second movie went back to Okinawa with Mr. Miyagi, so they had that squabble. But this guy is just someone who's just like brought in, and he's just straight up evil. I mean, he wants to torture a high schooler, and he takes joy in that. He's just like a twirling mustache evil person. Yeah. And I absolutely love his character. I couldn't wait for them to bring him back. And I love how they handled his character too, because it's kind of like with Kreese, or not Kreese, with Silver, you know, the wheels in his head are constantly turning. And you just saw his, when I was watching, I was just like, ooh, I saw that break from him and Kreese. I was just like,
Yes, you can
when
just
that
see
happened, I was like, I know he's just about to do something evil. Because there's no way that he's just like, what are you talking about, Kreese? What? What? We're not friends anymore? What? I do all this stuff for you. He's him getting drunk and, you know, upset. I'm like, he's not upset at their friendship. He's pissed because he came here for a purpose, and Kreese is not letting him fulfill that purpose. He's pissed off at Kreese. He's not like wallowing as like, woe is me, Kreese is no longer my friend. He's not wallowing in any type of self-pity. He's just like, where can I go from here and get back at this guy? Like, I hate that he has this thing that's lording over me, and how can I get out of it? Like, I love that character so much. He's so great.
And did as well. The character progression, the fact that he recognizes his weakness and he will do anything to progress. So the weakness has to go. I love that.
Yeah, it's like being a drug addict. You know, it's someone will trigger the evilness that lives inside of you, and that's Kreese for him. It's just like, whew, such a good character. And thank you. I've been trying to you know, for looking through my videos, because I've been trying to upload more content onto my YouTube channel this year. I know it kind of like fell by the wayside a little bit last year. Yeah, I would stream and stuff every week consistently, but producing and making more content for my channel, I just really didn't do that, besides, you know, trailer reactions, which I absolutely fell in love with. I love to do those. And so when I was focusing on Twitch, I let my YouTube channel kind of slide. So I've been wanting to bring that back a little bit more.
And you're having a fantastic time on Twitch as well, aren't you, at the moment?
Oh, yeah.
So you're playing Animal Crossing.
Oh, I love Animal Crossing.
How cute is that? I've never played it, but it looks adorable. So
it's so cute. I love it. I'm so late to the Animal Crossing game. I've had the game for a year. It's one of the first games that I bought for my Switch, and I never played it. It's just been there sitting. Like, literally, I bought the physical game and it was wrapped for a year. And I was just like, you know what? I want to play something else besides Mario Kart, because Mario Kart's just making me so angry. So I bought a few more games, and I was just like, oh, I have these games here. All right, let me put in Animal Crossing. Let's see what this is all about. And I just fell in love with it. I'm addicted to it. I have it on right now. It's just like, I play it when I'm listening to streams. I'll play it. That was another thing I was doing this morning while I was doing all those things. I was playing Animal Crossing. I was like, okay, I can't get rid of this. Yeah.
So is it just one of those kind of relaxing games? Because it seems to be, it's not something that kind of gets you very stressed. I love to play games, but the one thing that I've noticed is that I don't play for fun as much as I used to anymore. One, I don't have as much time, but two, there hasn't been the kind of urge to play, but I really want to get back into more gaming.
Yeah, I love this game. It's so relaxing, and it's just adorably sweet. I'm trying to get like all of my friends to play it. Like Mara, for a long time, Mara was like, this game is horrible. I don't like this game. And then she ended up getting it to surprise me. Kind of like she surprised me when she got a Switch and started playing Mario Kart. And now she's playing Animal Crossing. I was like, I got to get Lethal Lightning to play this too.
Big Rog says, what's the name of your island again, Steph?
It's Turtle Land. I named it Turtle Land. We have a turtle on the flag and everything.
That's adorable. I don't think you can see it, but just in your honor today, I've got a little turtle pendant on.
How cute. Someone sent me something like that too. I have it hung up. Michael from Twitch, he always sends me the cutest, most beautiful turtle stuff. Like, he sent me this bag. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a bag back there, and it has a turtle. It has a beautiful
Yes, I see it. Yeah, just hanging up.
He got me a poster that I put up on my wall so I can look at it every day. It's like one of those motivational posters, but it's a turtle. And then he got me like a pretty necklace, and it's like the purchase of the necklace with purchasing that, like, you got a donation to sea turtles. It's just it's such a beautiful necklace. I loved it so much.
That is sweet. And Happy Dinosaur says Steph likes turtles. I like turtles. Turtles are awesome. But it always confused me, just going off on a slight tangent, because you guys call everything turtles, whereas we call the ones that walk on land tortoises.
Tortoises, yeah.
So it really threw me. I was like, that's a tortoise, not a turtle.
I know.
Turtles swim.
Sea turtles. So my favorite turtles are tortoises. I love tortoises, especially the giant ones. When I was in California, they
Oh
have
my
like this whole
gosh.
section at the San Diego Zoo, just full of tortoises, just full of turtles. I touched some, I filmed some. There were a couple of them that were having sex, like uh, but they have gigantic Galapagos turtles there. Just like three, I think like three pens. One of them was just like stretching his neck out while he got some water poured on him because with
Oh.
the zookeeper was like cleaning his pen, and he was just like chilling, just waiting for her to get some water on him, spray some water on him. Oh, they're so gorgeous. And then when I went to SeaWorld, I didn't know this. When I went to SeaWorld, I was at the water park, and by the lockers, they have this small pen. And I was like, what are
Mhm.
people looking at? Because people were looking over this enclosure, and there were two giant tortoises there.
Oh.
Oh my God. I just about started crying. I did start crying. Like I took so many pictures. I filmed it. I put it up on YouTube. There was so much joy and just like touching this tortoise. Um, and when I started touching it, like it started stretching its neck up, and it made like this
Oh.
noise, and I started
Yeah.
crying because
I
it just
didn't
wanted to
realize they
cry.
made noises. For the longest time, and then somebody sent me a video of them having you know what,
Yeah.
and the noises they make while they do it. I was like, ah, okay.
Oh man,
But
it was such a
they're
beautiful
adorable.
moment. I was just like, I want to take you home. Love
So,
it.
would you ever have one as a pet? Just
I would, yes, definitely
yes.
have one as a pet. I want a tortoise as a pet. I follow like 3 or 4 Instagram accounts where people have tortoises as pets. And I love it. I was just like, I want to make a little pen enclosure like that. Like Tilly the tortoise is my favorite one to follow on Instagram. I love Tilly.
Oh, I love the kind of really elaborate setups that people have for them. You know, the care that they give them. They
Mhm.
are awesome. But yeah, I would love to meet one of the giant Galapagos tortoises. That would be
Oh,
amazing.
yeah. I would love to pet one. Love to pet
Oh my gosh, we went off on a slight tortoise tangent, but that's fine
one.
because I love them, and I knew you were a big fan as well. But the one thing that I did want to ask, you've obviously been a fan for a very long time of what we would consider kind of nerd culture.
Yeah.
What was your kind of jumping in point? Were you always a fan of comic books? Were you a fan of kind of video games? What was your kind of start?
My grandma raised a lot of us, and my uncles would bring DVDs and stuff to her house,
Hmm.
and they would just leave them there, and so we would have like our pick of what to watch. And there was one trilogy that on VHS that my uncle brought, and it was the Star Wars trilogy, and it was like a 3-pack. It was a 3-pack, and so one of my cousins put it in, and I was obsessed with it from there. From then on, I was just obsessed with watching Star Wars. So like I didn't get into comic books until later, but I watched Star Wars, and I was so into it. And we went to the when the prequels came out. I, again, fell in love with it. I know a lot of people don't like Jar Jar, but I've grown to just absolutely love him. Uh,
After the
Revenge of
sequels,
the
you get a new appreciation.
Yeah, just
Absolutely.
from my childhood memories, kind of like the trilogy, the original trilogy or people's childhood memories. The prequels are mine. My uncle, he's a huge Star Wars nerd, and I would always talk to him about it. And we ended up making like this. I have no idea where it's at. He probably has it. No clue. But we ended up making like this family production of Attack of the Clones. Yeah,
Oh my
we made our
gosh.
own like little family fan film like that. I was so excited about it. One of my cousins was Amidala. Like we all picked our characters, and he put music in the background to it. It was so corny, but I had such a fun time making it with him. Um,
Oh,
and
that sounds
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, and
Can
like
you
I
imagine
love the
watching
prequels.
it again now?
Oh my, I wouldn't even know who to ask to find it. But yeah, I love that. So, and my favorite Star Wars movie is Revenge of the Sith. Like the prequels just have my heart. From there, I found Batman the Animated Series, and that's where my
Yes.
love of like all this
Oh,
Batman came from. And another DVD that they had there was the original Batman movie with Michael
oh, the
Keaton,
Tim Burton. Yeah.
the Tim Burton Batman.
Nice.
So I would put that in and I watched it. I love the Batman Returns so much. Um, I love the Joker, Jack Nicholson's Joker, but Batman Returns, I absolutely love Batman Returns. So when like Val Kilmer's Batman and then George Clooney's Batman, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. I can't wait what they're gonna do with the Riddler because I love the Riddler.
Hmm.
Um, sorry, just to say.
What did you think of the live action Batman films? Because I love the aesthetic that Tim Burton did with his films. You were talking about Batman Returns, and I think what he did with Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman was amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I loved Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Hmm.
That's my top tier Catwoman right there is Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. My dogs are barking because there's people
Oh,
outside.
that's right. Mine will probably start as well. Don't worry, he's lying by my side at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, there's people outside. Um, but Michelle, yeah, she's top tier Catwoman for me.
She
Um,
really was.
I appreciated, oh, what's her name? Anne Hathaway. I
Yes.
appreciated her Catwoman, and the way she portrayed her. I
Hmm.
kind of liked the fact that like the ears for her cat ears are, they're
They were the goggles, weren't
practical.
they? Yeah,
They were the
they kind
goggles.
of
When she
flipped
flipped it
down.
up,
Yeah,
they
I
were
thought
the
that was
ears.
pretty
So I
cool.
appreciated that. I don't know how, I think it's Zoe Kravitz, how she's gonna do in the new one. But yeah, I loved Michelle Pfeiffer's version of Catwoman. That's my top tier Catwoman right there. Um, and let me see. Danny DeVito's Penguin. I know a lot of people like. I read and I've heard stories of people saying that like Danny DeVito's Penguin was disgusting and
Hmm.
audiences didn't like it and that's why they kind of switched gears and went towards like the Schumacher version of with the villains. But dude, I freaking love Danny DeVito's
I
Penguin. I thought he was
thought he
awesome.
was pretty awesome as well, to be
Yeah.
honest. I loved the style of him, and I couldn't
Uh-huh. He
picture
looked just
anybody
like
else.
he looked
Yeah,
just like the animated series
it did.
Penguin, like really
Yes.
tiny, really short, really gross.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it. When Schumacher came out and like, we had Two Face and the Riddler, I didn't like it. It was just kind of like Jim Carrey's
Yeah.
height of his career, and he's just playing the Riddler as Jim Carrey, kind of like Jim Carrey does. So I didn't really like his version of the Riddler. I didn't buy that he was like a genius and incredibly smart. I didn't
Hmm.
really buy it. Even with his look beforehand, he just looked like a crazy person. Um, and then Tommy Lee Jones as Two Face, I thought he was a little too old.
I thought he was as well, and if I remember the film correctly, they kind of got the character wrong because at one point he's flipping the coin and it doesn't land the way he wants to, so he keeps flipping the coin until he gets
Hmm.
the response that he wants. But the whole point of Two Face is whatever the coin says,
Yeah,
he does. So,
yeah, yeah.
have you seen the new Batman film that's coming out? Have you got any thoughts with Robert Pattinson?
I'm gonna give him a chance, like with anybody. I think that like people were upset with Ben Affleck being cast as Batman,
Hmm.
with Heath Ledger being cast as the Joker, and then they gave phenomenal performances as both. And I think that I don't know. I really feel like Robert Pattinson might surprise you, and he might not be as bad as we think he'll be. Because I think that like from Twilight till now, he's
Hmm.
really really grown as an actor, and uh, he himself didn't like the popularity of Twilight. He hated the character of Edward.
Hmm.
And he hated all the attention that it got, and that's why, like, since then, he's kind of just done indie films.
Yes,
And
The Lighthouse. He was brilliant
mhm,
in. That
yes,
was a great film.
Lighthouse was so good.
Hmm.
But I feel like he because he doesn't like the public attention so much, which is why he's kind of kept out of the spotlight and just done indie films, kind of like growing as an actor. I don't think that he would have accepted Batman if he couldn't do it.
Yes, I
Because
think
he knows that
he's
there's
gonna surprise people.
yeah, I think that like he's gonna I feel like he's gonna surprise people. I don't think he would have taken on the role if he didn't feel like he could do it, because there's gonna be so much attention on him, and he knows that.
Yes, I
Especially
think
with Batman.
of all the cast, he's probably going to be the best. But I've got to admit, I hated what they've done with the Riddler. I hate the look of
I
him.
don't like the look of the Riddler. I think that like he's been described. It's been described as like a Zodiac killer type of character.
Yes, that's exactly what came to mind when I first saw it.
Yeah, it's been described as a Zodiac killer type of character, and which is fine. If you're gonna go, dark and gritty, then sure. But the look of him is so odd. It's so odd. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think that like it could have been done better, and I think like Matt Reeves has said that like a lot of these characters that we're meeting, they're just in their beginning stages, kind of like Batman is. He's like year two, so they're in their beginning looks, so to speak. And I just feel like they could have done better with an early look of the Riddler, because I don't get the mask. Like, what's the point of that? And then he has his glasses over it.
Yes.
It's so weird. I don't like the look of him, but I'm interested in seeing why he's doing what he's doing. Why I like how he's honestly, I think that it's kind of neat the way he's killing people too.
Yes, I
know?
like the kind of darker aspects of the character, but I don't like that they've turned him into what seems to be kind of like a a Saw almost killer.
Yeah.
If you've ever played any of the kind of Arkham Asylum games, he still had that kind of homicidal side to him.
Yes.
But it was much more flamboyant. He was much more of a
He's
showman.
very flamboyant. Yeah, very flamboyant. And this looks more of like he's just a serial killer. If you're gonna have a serial killer, then just have a serial killer, And even I'm interested in, because I know the actor that plays him is a very good actor. It's interesting casting, but he's also not a flamboyant actor like the Riddler should be.
Yes.
I feel like the Riddler is he wants people to notice him. He wants to be the smartest guy in the room. He wants
exactly. It's like a battle of wits that he has with Batman. He wants you to know that he's gotten away with it, or almost has got away with it. He wants to prove that he is the smartest person in the room.
Absolutely. Yes, and I don't see that with this actor, because he's very like mellow. The actor that's playing him is very mellow.
Yeah, it's Dano, isn't it? Is it
Paul Dano?
Paul Dano.
I think it's Paul Dano. Yeah.
That's it.
He's a great actor, but he's very mellow, and I feel like he could possibly get like those quick reactions. Like if we're like, if he's just like yes, but I did that. Like those quick reactions.
Get that kind of burst of energy.
A burst of energy.
Yeah.
But as far as like the way he's supposed to be playing him, like I feel like what's his name? Oh God, what is his name? The guy that played him on the Gotham series. I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah, I know the tall, thin fella. Yeah, he was actually really good. Yeah,
he's really good. I liked his version of the Riddler, even when he was just Edward Nygma. He played it very well. He was just kind of walking around, and I met him, and I went to one of the panels when he was here. Like they had a bunch of the Gotham people here, and he was saying that like he didn't watch anybody's performance of the Riddler. He went straight to the comics, and he read a bunch of Riddler comics, and that's where he pulled his character from. And it makes sense, because when you're watching him, the Gotham television show is it's a big hit, but it's also a big miss with a lot of their characters. But I think that like when you first introduced to Edward Nygma, he's really good. He plays him so well, and I was just like, oh my God, we have to like, I can't wait for him to be the Riddler. And he's extremely flamboyant, and he thinks that like everybody should be invested in him and cheering for him, and it's I like how he played it. And then they went into like this different Corey Michael Smith. Thank you. That's his name, Corey Michael Smith.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Keely.
And then they went in like this weird direction with him and the Penguin.
That's kind of when it lost me. But I've got to admit, I did love seeing him in the green suit. I thought that was
His
great.
suit was
Yeah.
great. His costume was great as the Riddler. It's so good. I loved it, and he even had the bowler hat. I loved it. He's so good. It's very very comic accurate, and even with his green costume, it had a little bit of that shine to it, you know.
Yes, it's got
So
that
it's still
little bit of flair to
yeah,
it
the
that
little
he
bit of
has.
flair because
Yeah.
he's a flamboyant character. He wants to be noticed. He wants to be noticed. So it's so good. I love it.
Six has got a good question. She says, okay, who is the worst
Oh,
Batman?
George Clooney, like no
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. As much as I like George Clooney, yeah, it's
You
got to
can
be.
appreciate the fact that like practically everybody who was in that movie has apologized for that movie and has admitted that yeah, it was just made to sell toys. And
Eh,
so
I can respect that, to be honest, especially when the director came out and said, you know
yeah,
what, yeah, hands up, we were just trying. I was like, okay, that's
yeah.
fine, you know,
Thank you for your apology. I appreciate
appreciated. But I do have a guilty pleasure. I really liked Arnold Schwarzenegger as Freeze.
Uh, that whole movie is just a guilty pleasure.
It
Like when you're
is.
watching it, like I stream with my top tier members of my channel, and we um we watched Batman and Robin as like because I stream with them. We have like a movie night, just us like privately in Discord, and we watched Batman and Robin, and they were just like, "Oh my god, you hate us," but we were just making fun of it and laughing the whole time.
But that's the best way to watch it, I think. If you
Yeah.
don't take it seriously and kind of just accept that it is, you know, it's a silly film. It was definitely more geared towards the family. It's fine. It almost is. It's like an homage to the 1960s Batman, and I'm
Yeah.
perfectly fine with that.
That's how you have to watch it. But it's so not in line with like the what came before.
Yeah,
So,
or after,
so
because then you got the Nolan films as well,
the
which went
Nolan
very
films, yeah.
dark and very serious.
I mean, it killed Batman for a long time. That movie just killed Batman. They were like, we're not gonna make any more of these for so long until the Nolan films came out.
But I absolutely agree with you when you said that the Batman animated series is probably the best iteration
Oh yeah,
that I can think of.
best iteration of
Yeah.
of everything, of Batman, of the Riddler, of the Joker, of Harley, of all the villains. Like best iteration of everybody. I loved it. I love Batman the Animated Series.
Punk Order says Val Kilmer is a decent Batman. Seems to get overlooked by a lot. I like Val Kilmer. I thought he was pretty cool.
I thought he was okay. I didn't like that whole movie was just quiet. With the way Nicole Kidman talked, she like whispered half the time, and same thing with Val Kilmer. It was like everything was just so quiet in that movie. I don't feel like he had a good Batman voice. He was just kind of whispering, and even as Bruce Wayne, he was very mellow and whisper. I feel like everybody was whispering in that movie. It was so weird.
It's like, I can't, yeah.
You know, and that made I feel like that made Robin a little bit Chris O'Donnell's character. I feel like it made his character more annoying at times because he
Mm-hmm.
played it and he was actually talking, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
He was
and
actually
he
like
looked like
talking
he
and
was over the top because he was actually acting normally compared
yes,
to
and
everybody else. Yeah.
everybody else, Val Kilmer was always just whispering. Even when Chris O'Donnell was just like his Robin was like, "I'm gonna be there. How are you gonna stop me?" And he stands up and he's just like, "I can stop you." Like, what?
What?
What did
What
you
do you
say?
say?
You know?
we're getting quotes in the chat. They're just cracking me up at the
Yeah.
moment. And Deep of Martin, yes, he said that Nicole Kidman was super hot in Batman Forever.
Mm-hmm. The
She was.
the one scene that I've always made fun of this scene, even when I watched it when I was younger, was like when Batman visits her and she's asleep naked in her bed and wrapped in her sheet. It's like, why are you sleeping naked? Why is she naked? Does she know that Batman's coming to see her and she just wants to be naked? Why are you naked? I was like turned around, like, why is she naked?
Just on the off
What's the
chance that he
point?
turns up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's the point of her sleeping naked?
Um, Gibbering Gibbon says Chris O'Donnell was terrible in both movies. He deserves more hate than Clooney.
Yeah,
He didn't
he
really do
didn't do
much
very much.
after, did he? Yeah.
He was constant like the first movie. He seemed annoying, but I feel like it's because everybody else was just like, "Oh, Bruce," blah, 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 was whispering. In the second movie, he was really, really obnoxious. Very obnoxious. He's an
Yes.
obnoxious dick. That's how he played it. He played him very obnoxious.
And then we ended up with Alicia Silverstone as well.
Oh, don't
Yes.
even get me started on her.
That was,
Suit
yeah,
me
that
up,
kind of.
Uncle Alfred.
Hmm. And just happens to have a suit that perfectly fits
Yeah.
her. Yeah,
More than one, because she changed. She
she
changed
did.
her outfit, yeah. For the toys.
T. Bud Martin says, some of us sleep in the buff, especially in the summer. Not judging, we just thought
I
it was
know.
odd,
I
just
thought
on
it
the
was
off
weird
chance.
as, watching it when I was younger. I was just kind of like, why is she naked? I don't get it.
And hello, Max Relax, good to see you. Says there's a suspiciously, what do you say? There's a suspicious amount of women in this stream. Good to see you. I've got to ask, because I know we were talking about it before we went live as well, and you clearly, you love the Batman side. Was this to do with the kind of detective side as well? Because I know that you're a massive fan of true crime as well.
Oh, I never
Is that
made
what
that
kind of
connection.
appealed? Just curious, because
Yeah.
that's kind of where my interest in the subject came from. I always loved the kind of detective side as well as the
Yeah.
superhero side, and I thought, I wonder if it's the same.
I never made that connection. I just like how dark it was. And that could very well be. I never really thought of that. I really liked how dark it was, and the animated series, how it's supposed to be for kids, but there's a lot of adult innuendos in that show, and you can watch it as an adult and still enjoy it. And as a kid, it didn't, it was very unlike everything else that I was watching. Because like I had, younger cousins, like I said, I discovered all this at my grandma's house. So like I had younger cousins there, and they would always watch like their cartoons, but Batman, it always stood out to me as adult, and I think that's why I liked it, because it was really dark, and they didn't censor it just because it was made
Yes.
for kids. They didn't treat kids like they were dumb, and
They
that's what I
didn't know. They
appreciated
didn't
it.
talk down to the
Yeah.
audience. Absolutely, that's one thing that I noticed growing up watching it as well. You knew it was kind of for kids. It was obviously a cartoon, but you felt a lot more grown up watching it
Watching
because
it, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. With that, and I love the cast.
Oh yeah,
You can't beat
absolutely.
Kevin Conroy and
Oh,
Mark Hamill as the two.
best Batman and Joker. But yeah, that's how I just fell in love with Batman. Um, and the Joker. I thought that their dynamic was interesting. I never really connected like the detective side, and that's why I like true crime. I never really put that together. But I did
Cool.
like. It's so funny because I was like that as a kid. I would always go into the library and check out books on the supernatural and things like that. I was really big
Mm-hmm.
into X-Files, so maybe that's why I loved it so much. But yeah,
Kind of like there in the background. Yes.
yeah.
That is so cool. Let me just quickly grab, because we have had a super chat come in. If you don't mind, let me just say a massive thank you to Stephen Glenn. Thank you, sweetheart. He says the original Joker, original Riddler, played by Frank Gorshin. I thought he played it well. Your thoughts? I love Frank Gorshin. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
He was great. I always thought he was actually more kind of a threat than, say, the Joker in the 1960s Batman, because he was way more manic.
He was very manic, yeah. He was very, very manic. But I did like that Joker as well. Yeah, he is very
Mm-hmm.
threatening. But I just, like when you go back and you watch, I don't know, when I watch older versions of things that I like, I'm just kind of, I always like, that's good, but it's just not what I like.
Yes, you kind
I
of
don't
you remember it differently once you kind of go back and watch shows. I found,
know.
unless it's something you
Uh,
really loved.
yeah, because my parents were just kind of like, oh my gosh, you like this stuff? Look, this is the original. And they would show me things, and I'm just kind of like, I'll watch it, but I don't really like it that much. I like what I like. That's how I was. But yeah, I just
Oh,
I thought
I
it was
love
good.
it. I thought it was pretty good as well. So
Yeah.
thank you, Stephen Glenn. He says, "So hail to Queen of Valhalla, lovely purple. Good to see you. Good to see you as well, love. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a fantastic day today." What other things did you kind of gravitate towards growing up? Were you a big kind of Star Trek fan as well as Star Wars, or were you kind of one of those people that stayed with one particular IP?
I stay with one particular IP. Like if I love everything DC, I've never really been into a lot of Marvel. Even though I've read a lot of the stories as I've gotten older, um, I've never really loved it as much as DC.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and same with Star Wars. I've seen some Star Trek episodes with like Next Generation episodes, but I've never gotten into it as much as Star Wars. And that's just my personality. Once I find something that I love, I stick with it, and I won't
Mm-hmm.
I won't I'll try not to like go with anything. That's just a part of my personality. But I will dabble a little bit if I find some interest in it, like with when all the Marvel movies started coming out, like with Iron Man, Thor, all of that. I started um listening to a lot more Marvel comic runs on YouTube. Like there's this Comics Explained. I really love his channel. It's
Yes.
all comic books, and he gives you a really in-depth summary of like a lot of runs of comic books. So like when those movies started coming out, I wanted to learn more about the characters. Even though I knew the characters, I wanted to learn more about them. And so
Mm-hmm.
I would go to his channel and listen to a lot of the stories. Um, but I didn't, yeah, it's not something that I really dabble or like got too much into it growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved DC and Star Wars, and that's kind of like where I kept my focus a lot of the time.
That's understandable, because then you kind of really can focus on the characters that you love. You can really kind of get into the depth
Yeah.
behind them, and I love that. I like Marvel, but if I had to choose between the two, I would say I was more of a DC girl, because Batman was what I grew up reading and watching.
Yeah.
Um, but I enjoyed the MCU. I've got to admit, I thought
Hmm.
a lot. Some of them not so great, but when they
I
were
thought it was
great,
a
they were
lot.
really good.
Yeah, I thought it was like a lot brighter than DC, and I liked how dark DC was.
Hmm. Yeah, I also thought that Marvel, especially growing up, when you think of some of the cartoons that we had, it was more kind of kiddie. And as
Yeah.
we were saying, you wanted something a little bit more grown up.
Hmm.
But I can't fault Marvel for building the MCU. Well, up until what we've got at the moment,
Hmm.
they had a amazing kind of idea, and they
Oh yeah,
executed it incredibly well.
they did. The execution was phenomenal,
Hmm.
up until the end. But
Up until the not so much now. It's kind of
yeah,
fallen off a cliff, but
yeah.
that's okay, Marvel. I always thought Endgame would have been the perfect place to just kind of let it sit, just leave it for maybe
Hmm.
5 years, and then, if people still have the same appetite for superhero films, then pick it up. Because it seems to be there's kind of this burnout when it comes to kind of superheroes now. We've had 10 years of the MCU, we've got the DCEU, we've got all the TV shows. There's just so much market saturation.
See, I don't think that I honestly I don't think that there's burnout because there's always going to be a level of interest in superheroes and superhero movies. It's just your level of interest in it. You know what I mean? Because like with Marvel, my level of interest was at an all-time high. You know,
Hmm.
when we had Iron Man and then all the way up to Endgame. You know, my level of interest was I wanted to see it completed. I wanted to see these characters and how their stories end or continue. And but the way now that they're marketed and the way they've been the way they've kind of like been moving towards the focus has you can kind of tell that like they're not really focusing on characters anymore. They're focusing on bringing something else to the forefront of Marvel, and that's
Yes, the
women. We're
message. Yeah.
the message. Now they're not letting the characters have. Uh, they're not letting the characters leave their stories anymore. They're letting the message lead the stories, and it's something that you can tell. You can
Hmm.
tell. You know, as when you watch these stories, you can tell, and it. Yeah, it started with Captain Marvel, and I didn't go to the theater to see that movie. Actually, no, I did because someone wanted to go see it, so I did go and see it. Um, as like it was like a Girl Scout thing that I was helping out with. So I did go and see it, and I was just like, God, this movie's terrible. This movie's terrible. It's so out there with the message, you know. I was just like, it's blatantly in your face. Do they think that we're stupid? What happened?
But if you
Um,
listen to them, they think that this, you know, we're the target audience. This is exactly what we want, and we're telling
uh-huh.
them, no,
No, it's
no,
not.
no.
It's not. But it's Hollywood now thinks that like they're better than everyone, that they have the
Mm-hmm.
right opinion, and it's their responsibility to teach us because we're doing it wrong, they're doing it
Yes.
right, and it's their responsibility as however they're thinking, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because they think that like the plebs need to be taught a lesson, and we know the right way, and
Exactly. It's a
they
case
are
of, you know,
obviously
do as I
doing it
say,
wrong.
not as I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um which is incredibly ridiculous because Hollywood itself are incredibly hypocritical themselves. So I think it's dumb. And the way they've been doing it lately is it's not that we have superhero fatigue, because there's obviously a hunger there. I mean, look how successful Cobra Kai is. Look how
Yes.
successful the Demon Slayer fan base has gotten. That movie was when the Mugen Train came out. I wasn't into manga. I've never dived into manga. I've never really had that brought like introduced to me, really.
Yes.
But I went and saw that movie because it was recommended, and I couldn't find tickets. Like, it was sold out. You know, there's hunger there for different things. I mean, look at the new Spider-Man movie that just came out. You
Yeah.
can't blame it on the pandemic
Enjoyed it.
because it did
Oh no.
so well.
No.
Joker, when Joker came out, that one hit 1 billion. You know, there is
Mm-hmm.
a hunger there for these IPs, but they're just not executing them very well
No.
anymore.
And the one thing that I did want to ask, because obviously there's this kind of stigma, or there's this crazy idea that, you know, just because you're a female and you're a fan of comics, that, you know, you're somehow this kind of special unicorn. And it's not the case. You know, if you're a
No.
fan of comics, if you're a fan of anime, if you're a fan of anything really, you're a fan. You know, there's
Yeah.
no kind of divide. And I
No.
hate that they push that.
It's because geek culture like went mainstream, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and they're
I,
like, "Oh, these geeks aren't accepting me." It's just like, dude, what are you
I blame
talking
Big Bang
about?
Theory for that.
It went mainstream, and they're just like, they're not accepting me. It's like, dude, we accept everybody. You know, going into comic book stores, you know, getting my weekly pull list, and there's always been both men and women there, you know. And yeah, we challenge your knowledge on stuff, but that's just what we've always done. It's
Mm-hmm.
because we're talking about it. And I remember when Birds of Prey came out, I went to go get my weekly pull list, and they were like some people talking about it, and I just joined the conversation. I was like, "How can you say that this is good? It's not good. I can't believe you guys went and saw it. It's terrible. Are you
Just
kidding me?"
jump right in there.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
just jumped in there and just started talking about it. It's like, please don't go see that movie. It's crazy awful. But you know, you just start talking, and at my comic book store, there's like 3 women that work there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say that like, oh, we're special unicorn. No, I've never been special unicorns. You know, in the back of the comic book stores, there's people that are playing the Dungeons and Dragons and, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Magic back there. And they're a mix of people. They're both men and women. So it's just kind of like there's no special unicorns. That idea doesn't exist. You know, like when you walk in the comic. And I do blame Big Bang Theory. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like when a
I
girl
do.
walks in, everybody turns around and looks. That's not the case. You walk in and they're just like, how you doing?
Hey, yeah, it's
Everybody's they're
like they've
focusing
never
on their
seen a
own
female before.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I had to ask because I've never ever walked into a comic book store and expected or experienced anything other than, you know, just being a customer. And I hate
Yeah.
this idea that they keep pushing that, you know, oh, you're somehow special because you like comic books or games. It's just really ridiculous.
I know it is dumb. But that's like the mainstream narrative of nerd
Mm-hmm.
culture is, oh my god, girls are so rare. Never been
It's,
rare. Never been rare at all.
and Six agrees. She said, I used to feel like a special unicorn. There was no line for the ladies' room at huge conventions. Back when conventions happened, I used to love conventions. Are you a big con
Oh
goer?
yeah. I love going to cons. I've been going to a lot of anime cons lately.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it's awesome because, you know, I'm in Texas, so they're still happening here, so I can still go to them.
Yes, I managed to go to one about 6 weeks ago, and this is the first one I've been to in 3 years, and it was
Oh.
so good just to get back into this huge convention hall, you know, with people in costume, people, you know, just having a good time, buying comics, buying
Yeah.
collectibles. I was like, I've missed this so
I've missed it
much.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to there was an anime convention in Dallas. It's one of the big ones that I went to, and I was just like, oh, it feels so good to be back here around people.
Son Assassin says, have you been to Animo City Con?
I have, yeah. I've been to it
Nice.
a few times actually. That's where they had the Gotham cast was at Alamo City Con. They had the
Oh.
Gotham cast here. Yeah, I went to that one.
Are you a big fan of meeting celebrities, or do you go to kind of buy collectibles? Or you
I'm not a big fan of meeting celebrities, but if there's a show, it depends. It really depends because like at the con that I went to, they had the Gotham cast. So I was just like, I was watching Gotham at the time, and I really liked the show. It was good at the time, and so I was like, I want to meet the cast. So I got tickets to meet that because I really like the Alfred in Gotham and the Riddler in Gotham. They're both going to be there.
Yes,
The
Sean
guy that
Penn's really cool. I
he's
like him as
very
Alfred.
yeah he's so
Yeah,
cool.
he's cool.
They were going to have the guy that played the Penguin there too, but he ended up canceling. And then there were a couple of people there from Sons of Anarchy, and I love that show.
Oh, that is such a good
Yeah.
show.
So I wanted to meet them, but other than that, if I'm not huge on meeting celebrities, I go more for like the experience, and seeing people and all the stuff that is on sale there. I like going there for that.
I do as well. I love kind of just seeing what they've got, you know, because you can find some amazing bargains, or you know, you can walk away with half a dozen, you know, Funko Pops.
I know. Yeah, and I like seeing all the
so cool.
costumes there, what people come up with.
do.
I take so many pictures of them.
Are you a cosplayer yourself? Have you dressed up in the past?
I've dressed up in the past, but I don't do it much.
No.
I'm not big on that. I'll wear like jeans and a t-shirt of something that I'm supporting at the time.
Sounds about right. I'd love to wear a really kind of over the top elaborate costume, but one, I don't think I'd be able to make it because I'm not very good at kind of hands-on like that sort of thing. And two, I'd be terrified of like breaking it or trying to move through a crowd and just having bits snap off.
See, that's how I feel. I'm kind of like, I want to be comfortable when going to these things, and I'm already like really sweaty because there's a lot of people, and you know, sometimes I'm just like, let me put my hair up. And if I wore a costume, I feel like it would make me like uncomfortable, like going through making sure like nothing gets through. And then if I get all sweaty and I'm doing like the makeup too, I would be like really self-conscious about it. So yeah, sometimes I'm just like, nah, just leave it to other people and take pictures of their costumes.
Stunning and Brave Megatron said you would make a great Baroness. I could see that. I think that would look amazing. And Gunnar says some of the cosplayers make amazing costumes. They spend a lot of time and money on their costumes. Oh yeah. Some of them are so elaborate, and I think we've seen it at the moment, and we're seeing it on Twitter. For example, with the Batwoman costume that everyone's talking about, the Batgirl. You've seen what we're getting, and then you're seeing what cosplayers have made. It's like, yeah, really, guys.
I know. See, I don't think that like the new Batwoman costume, I can appreciate the mindset that they had. Like, oh, okay, we're gonna pull straight from the comic. We're gonna I can appreciate the mindset, but at the same time, I don't like the lack of like femininity that they put into it. It looks like a guy could wear this costume.
It's very bulky.
It's very bulky. That's one of the first things that I noticed about it. I was like, it's very bulky. You can't see her curves. It makes her look flat. So
and even on the arms, it's quite
bad
wide open. Yeah, like the
and I was
don't fit properly.
No, it doesn't. It looks like it doesn't fit her properly. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, maybe it's just a still. Maybe it'll look good on screen. And when I saw it, the first thing that I thought of was, are they gonna have like Batgirl in the CW? That's what I thought of. It literally looked like a CW. That's like one of the things that popped into my mind. It looked like a CW costume. Um, and I think that it could be more fitted, less bulky. I just don't like the look of it, but I
Yeah.
appreciate the fact that they're at least trying to go with a comic accurate
Yes.
outfit. But at the
I
same
can.
time, I'm like, it could have
The
done better.
execution wasn't great.
Yeah.
I can definitely see where they were going with it. But the actress, she's a really beautiful lady. It just looks really odd that it's so kind of bulky and flat, and it doesn't seem to kind of
It
move
doesn't
the.
extend. No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm like, how is she gonna move in that?
yeah.
How is she gonna? It doesn't look like it fits her. It doesn't look like it's formed to her body. But there, who said it in the chat? Someone said in the chat. Shane. They're terrified of the female body of curves. Yeah, absolutely. They're, and I don't understand why. I don't, because of the male gaze. Because that's the only people that go to watch these
Exactly.
movies. The male
Yes.
gaze. But
And
it's
here you've
so
got
it's so
two
dumb.
ladies. Yeah.
It's so dumb. Like the Suicide Squad movie. Yeah, it's not a very good movie and released the air cut all the way, but that Harley Quinn costume was so freaking good, and so many girls dressed up like Harley Quinn. It was the
Oh,
best selling costume.
yeah. The
For
Halloween
Halloween.
that year,
Yeah.
Harley's everywhere.
Yeah. Harley's ever so many Harleys. And then they changed her look in Birds of Prey. Ain't nobody gonna buy that shit. Nobody wants to
You know
wear
what?
that.
I
It looks
haven't
terrible.
even watched that film. I didn't watch Birds of Prey because I heard it was so bad. I probably should watch it. I like Suicide Squad. I thought that was a fun film. But
Yeah,
Birds of
Birds of Prey
Prey,
was terrible. It
yeah,
was god awful, and oh, it was terrible. So bad. Margot Robbie looked real, and I love her version of Harley Quinn. The movie took place like during the daytime. You just can't do Harley in daylight. Like, she looks dumb. Cassandra Cain was terrible. I mean, they could have done, oh, she could have been so badass. You want an incredible female character, give me Cassandra Cain as Batgirl. Like, she
yes,
was so freaking amazing. And then this Cassandra Cain is like, oh, look, they calls her orphan, so let's make her an orphan, and she's a little Asian. So here you go. Oh, it's terrible. So freaking terrible.
I think all of the characters were kind of very missed, if I remember correctly, because Black Canary was apparently not a great character either. And I
No.
like Black Canary. I
Yeah.
love her powers.
It was just kind of, it was very odd. Like, they somehow knew that, like, she could do it. They were like, you know what to do. And so she yelled, but it came out of nowhere because, like, you don't really. How does she know that she can do this? It's not really explained. All we see her, do is sing and break a glass. So we know that, like, she can do something. Don't know what it is.
Mariah Carey can do that.
I know. I know. If you're a really good singer, you can break a glass. But, like, at one point, they were like, you know what to do. And it's just like, how do they know she can do this? How does Harley know she could? She's never done it before. So freaking weird. And then oh god, Rosie Perez as way too old. And I don't say this to be ageist. I say it because it's true. She's way too old to be playing Montoya. Like, so bad. It's horrible casting. Horrible casting. Like, put Salma Hayek in there if you want, an older woman. Put her there. At least she's looks better. I don't think Rosie Perez
Yes.
aged very well, to be honest. But she was just so bad in the role. And then she got, passed up by her fellow male colleagues. They took all the credit, and
Of course, because that's always the way, yeah.
so dumb. So dumb. Black Mask too. Yeah, Black Mask is
Black
terrible
Mask.
in the
Yeah.
movie.
And I like Black Mask. I think Black Mask is a really interesting villain. I think he's
Mhm.
great. I love
Yeah.
Roman Sionis. I even liked it when it was Jeremiah Arkham later on in the comics when he takes over the persona. It's like, well,
Yeah, he
shit.
wasn't threatening, wasn't nothing. He was nothing. He was whiny. This is mine. Everything's mine. Terrible.
Someone would make a spicy Montoya. Yes.
Yeah, like, put Salma there. You want to get, an older one. But no, Rosie Perez, such an odd casting choice. Just an odd casting choice there.
Did you watch Eternals? Just as a
That's funny that you say that. Okay,
just
so
curious.
I've been a little under the weather lately, and so yesterday I was like, you know what, I want to take a nap on the couch. I feel like doing it, and I think a couple hours is a good time. Like I just wanted to nap. It's like, what can I put? I like to nap with something on in the background. What can I put on in the background to nap? And I remember somebody telling me that like Eternals came out on Disney Plus, so I was like, all right, I'll just put that on. I couldn't nap, like I couldn't fall asleep, so I was stuck watching this movie. It was so slow and so dull. The fight at the end was dull. In every scene you have someone crying. It was just bad. It was so boring. It was a boring movie.
I've got to admit, I haven't taken the plunge yet and watched it. I've heard people say it's really not worth doing. I like to try and give films the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to watch Shang-Chi, and it was okay. It's one of those films that I'll probably never watch again, but at least I can say, yes, I watched it. And,
yeah. I've only watched like maybe a quarter of Shang-Chi because I wasn't really paying attention. I tried to sit down and watch it, but then I started doing something else. But I haven't really watched Shang-Chi yet. And yeah, I finally watched Eternals, and it was just dull. It was so dull all the way through. It was so dull. Dull. And at the very end, the CGI was terrible with the fight scenes. And then at the very end...
weird that CGI seems to be going worse the further we go. Because if you think back to like maybe 10 years ago and you watch a film that came out and you look at the CGI and think, actually, this is holding up. It's looking okay.
Yeah, like Jurassic Park.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And today it's just, ooh.
I think that they're getting like overly ambitious and they think that it looks good, but it doesn't. It's very much CGI. The what are they called? The deviants in that movie. They reminded me of those creatures from Hellboy. The look of them, that's how they looked. It was just really weird. I'm surprised that I wasn't able to fall asleep to it because it was really boring.
It's weird. I will sit down eventually, watch it just to kind of, like I say, give it the benefit of the doubt. But I just, you just don't have it in you at the moment.
Yeah. You have to be in the mood, really. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna take a nap, and try and watch this movie. But yeah, I just like it was so dull. It was so incredibly dull.
And oops, it skipped on me. Let me grab that comment from Max Relax. Because one of the films that I think actually really held up well with the CGI, considering it's now 20 years old, are the Lord of the Rings films.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yes. I've fallen asleep to Lord of the Rings movies. I have fallen asleep to them.
I have too, but I still love them. But it's just one of those ones.
I'm not even kidding. When what was it? The Two Towers. When the Two Towers came out, me and my friends went to go see it, and I had just finished working like a double shift. I fell asleep in the movie theater watching the Two Towers, and I woke up at the very end when all the fighting started, and I could just see they were just like staring at me, so mad at me that I fell asleep in the movie theater watch. I was just like, I'm sorry.
I can't help it.
I was so tired.
It's not that it's a bad movie. I've just been working a lot of hours.
Yeah, and it's so late at night that we went to go see it too. And I was just like, I literally woke up and I looked over and they were staring at me like so disappointed in me. It's like, I'm sorry. I woke up for the good part though.
Yes. I love the fight scene. I love the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cool. And Project Storytime's got a good point. It says CGI has gotten worse because Hollywood over relies on it. They don't plan out the shots. They just say, we'll fix it later.
We'll fix it in post, yeah.
Absolutely. I'd agree with that. It should be an enhancement. It shouldn't be your sole tool, I always think. Absolutely.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to rely on it. And that's what they've done. They've come to rely on CGI too much.
And Gunnar says all of the Two Towers is the good part.
I know. I know.
I'd agree
It was
with that.
so funny. I swear they woke up and they were so mad at me. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was so tired. You're
Don't
lucky
judge.
I'm even here.
Exactly. You're welcome. But I love going to the cinema. I love the kind of, you know, being in a cinema where it's packed, and to have the kind of audience that you had with the Lord of the Rings, that you had with some of the MCU films. We're slowly getting it back. I went to a packed theatre for Ghostbusters Afterlife. I went to a packed theatre for Spider-Man No Way
Yeah.
Home. So it's getting there slowly.
Yeah. I can't remember because like they reopened the theaters here. Like how it happened is like I think we were shut down for like maybe like I want to say like maybe a month and a half, and then they slowly restarted opening things up in stages. And as soon as they opened the movie theaters and stuff started playing there again, I went, and it was one of the saddest it was one of the saddest things that I've seen. Was just like nobody there. It was like a ghost town theaters, and I love going to the movies so much, and going to like movie openings, and it was, and yeah, I love the atmosphere, and you know,
even with
being
the overpriced popcorn and
even
things.
with the overpriced popcorn, sitting there with your popcorn, watching a movie. I love the experience of it. It was so sad just going in there and seeing like, because my theater, you have like a bowling alley, you have a bar, and then you have like all the concession stands, and then you have like a place where you can eat. And there was like everything was dark on one side, dark on the other side, and there's only one concession open.
It feels weird, doesn't it? Yeah.
When it was like so that. Sad. And that's why I got so excited when I went to go see Spider-Man. Because like now when I go to the movie theater, more people are there, you know, so everything is open back up. Like, you know, it took a while, but everything finally opened back up, and people are now just like whatever, and we're going to the movie theaters. Like now when you go, it's like it feels like it was before. But like when I went to go see Spider-Man, I actually sat next to two people who were cosplaying Toby and Andrew. Nice. And I got so excited. I was like, I have the best seats in the house right now. Like, take a picture with me. I got so excited seeing them dressed up. It was so cool. Like, I love that. That's why I love going to the theater. Like, people get so hyped for movies that come out. When I went and saw Mugen Train, when I went and saw Demon Slayer, people were there dressed up in their in their Demon Slayer cosplay, Demon Slayer shirts. It was so much fun. Yeah, I missed that. I missed. You don't realize how much you miss it until it gets taken away, and then like people like slowly start bringing it back, and like, oh, I love it.
Yeah, and I can't wait to get back to that kind of level, because we were talking about the Star Wars prequels, and I think back to, you know, the queues round the block to get into the cinema, people dressed up, people with their lightsabers. Yeah, I love that, and I can't wait to have that experience back again. And it's getting there. We're slowly getting there.
I know.
Thankfully.
I love being in the theaters, like for like the for Revenge of the Sith, when I went. You know, me and my friends, we all dressed up and we're sitting there. People were having like lightsaber fights at the front of the theater. Practically everybody was dressed up. And then, you know, the movie starts and people just start cheering. Like after the credits are done, you know, you hear the dun, dun, like you just start cheering. And it's just like, hell yeah. Like, I miss that level of excitement. And
yes, the energy.
I don't think we're going to get that level of excitement anymore with Star Wars, unfortunately.
No.
You know, because that's desperately missing. But, you know, they don't want that fan base anymore. They want a new fan base. So.
Exactly, yeah. They want the fan base that doesn't technically exist, but they're desperately trying to prove that it does.
Yep.
If it's all right, I'm just going to grab these super chats because everyone's been incredibly generous. Thank you, guys. So, we had a £5 super chat from Gibbering Gibbons. Thank you, sweetheart. He says, David Warner as Ra's al Ghul was awesome in Batman and Ninja Turtles too.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan. Yes.
Are you? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I love Ninja Turtles.
Who's your turtle?
Raphael.
Donatello.
Raphael's my Ninja Turtle. Actually, Stunning and Brave Megatron in the chat, he drew me the Ninja Turtles fighting all of the different Robins. So we have Nightwing versus Leonardo. We have he calls it the Mistake versus Michelangelo. We have Shredder versus Batman. Raphael versus Red Hood. So hold on, let me.
That is incredible.
It's gorgeous. Like, this was the first one that
that.
he. Yeah, this was the first one he drew for me. He gave it to me for my birthday, because I love Raphael and I love Red Hood. And then I was just like, wouldn't it be neat to have like the whole Bat family and then Batman versus Shredder? And he made it happen. He gave these to me for Christmas, and I love them. Love them so much.
Well done, Stunning and Brave Megatron.
Yeah, awesome. And they're phenomenal. I really think that he should like be working in the comic industry, because he has him on his channel. He does like I think he does streams, drawing streams, or
yes, I've seen.
And I was just like, you need to get in contact with somebody, because you need to be there. You need to be in that industry, because his drawings are so good. I love him.
And I love him all so much. Love that we've got so many talented people within this community. You know, we've got artists, we've got people that can edit videos, we've got people that can do live streams. It's such a diverse group. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but I absolutely love to see where people's talents lie. That is amazing.
I love him so much.
We have got a super chat from Psychodorf9. Thank you, sweetheart. He says the message simply needs to be good stories. Agreed. I could not agree more. Absolutely. That's all we want. And I think that's kind of what these last few films that have been really popular have proved. You know, if you give the audience what they want, if you give them good entertainment, people will flock to go see it. It doesn't matter what the IP actually is. Whether it's Ghostbusters that people love from the 80s, or whether it's a continuation of the MCU, or even Dune. Dune did incredibly well.
Dune was good, yeah. Dune was very well. Dune was good, really well. Like I said, Cobra Kai does it so good. Just so good. And that's why I've fallen in love with anime. I've fallen in love with anime because it doesn't preach to you. The story and the characters are what moves the story. It moves the plot along. It feels out of place when someone has like a political messaging or something, a speech out of nowhere, and that's and they do it a lot.
Jarring.
It takes you out, and it's just like, I don't think that person would actually give this speech, to be honest. That's not her character. It's not her place to do so. And that's what, like, I watch a lot of, and I used to watch a lot of the CW DC shows. Now it's almost a chore to keep up with Flash, because that's probably the only one that I'm still watching is the Flash, and I still need to catch up with it. But that show, I'm rewatching it from the beginning, because I like to go to sleep with like the TV on and stuff. So like I'll put something on, and I've been rewatching the Flash, and I was just like, God, this show was so good at the beginning, so good at the beginning, and then moved over to CW, and it's just like the message comes first, and so it's
gotta admit, I'm not a big CW fan.
Nobody really should be, but
and it seems the only people watching Batwoman are like the
EFAP guys and Az,
watching it,
me, Az, and Jane Theory, we tortured ourselves and watched Naomi.
Yes, I watched a review of it. I was like, oh, taking one for the team, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we're in the we counted as the demographic and viewership for that
you
show.
You tripled the audience.
Yeah, we did. We tripled the audience. That's what we did.
Was it as bad as you thought it was going to be, or was it worse?
I didn't honestly know. I had no clue. I was just like, well, let's see it, because they're saying that, they want people to come into the Naomi verse, and she's amazing, and she is amazing. There's no room for growth with that character. None. She's already starting off. She's already great. She's great. She's perfect. No room for growth.
That's a real shame, because I've got nothing against characters, but they have to have some sort of character progression. As how are you supposed to root for them? Yeah,
Yeah,
what's the
you
point?
can't root for her. She's already good. And she's only just gonna get better.
Yay.
I know.
Is it something that you're going to keep watching? Is that a show that you're kind of interested
We're
in,
gonna
or is it?
No, it wasn't anything that I was interested in seeing, but we're gonna I think he's gonna like message us in a couple of days, see if we want to do another review.
I've got to admit,
We'll
the
see.
reviews are far more exciting and far
Oh,
more
that's how I'm
entertaining than
watching.
any of the, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I'm watching Book of Boba Fett. Like the EFAP guys do their
Watch it
mini EFAPs.
vicariously, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's how I'm watching that. That's how I watched, because I started watching Batwoman. Like I said, I watched CW, so I was still watching um Flash and Arrow when Batwoman premiered. And I was just like kind of interested in it because I want to see Gotham. I wanted to see Gotham in this universe. And so like Ruby Rose's introduction in the crossover wasn't as bad as her show. I didn't
That's odd.
mind her. I
Yeah.
didn't mind her introduction. I thought, all right, I can see it. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, well, these characters are probably picking up her slack. Now looking back at it, because she's not a good actress. So they're picking up her slack
No,
and
she's not
making her
great.
look good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Picking up
Even
her
in
slack.
John Wick, she wasn't great.
No, They're making her look good. So that's probably why I was more interested in her show. And then her show came out and it was just terrible. Terrible. And I actually got angry watching her show because Arrow was ending. And this is the Arrowverse, right? Arrow was ending, and the layout for the Batwoman show was very similar to Arrow. And I was like, there is no way that they're going to take Arrow's the show layout for Arrow and give it to Batwoman. And now is it going to be what, like the Batwoman verse, because Arrow was ending? And I got really upset at that because the show was terrible.
See, the CW had some great ideas, but the execution, it seems,
yeah.
it's again
It's
that's what it falls down.
Yeah, and it's all political messaging with the CW shows, and I tend to try and overlook it because I like some of the characters, like in Arrow and Flash. One of my favorite characters in Flash, besides Grant Gustin, because I think that he plays a really good Barry Allen and a good Flash. But then, like, it ended up being like Team Flash, We Are the Flash, and that's where it kind of sucks now. But
Yes.
one of my favorite characters was Ralph Dibny. I really liked him. I like how he played the elongated man, and I liked him. And then they ended up kicking him off because of something he said on Twitter. So he was fired. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is so you're already suffering, dude. So many people liked that character and that actor, and then they got rid of him, and people stop watching if you remove their favorite character. And that's pretty much where I stopped watching. I'm trying to keep up with it now. But I was just like, I liked his character. I liked how he played it. He's goofy and dumb, and it makes sense because
It was
it's
endearing.
CW.
Yeah.
And he's over the top, and that's just, I was just like, whatever.
I had that exact same experience with The Expanse. I loved The Expanse. I was watching it, and then the previous season before the one that we've just had was a massive disappointment. And I just haven't watched the new season. I just haven't had any interest in watching it, and it was a real shame because it was a show that I was invested in.
Yeah, and like they did a lot in Flash. Like they removed Cisco's powers. He no longer wants to be a meta. He became very dull and sullen. And I was just like, what are you doing, guys? Are you ruining all of the guy characters on that show? It's already kind of bad. You don't need to ruin it any further.
Oh God. Let me just say a thank you again to JPRPH1. Thank you, sweetheart. He sent us in a super sticker, and it is a super pair. Thank you, honey. I love that one. That one is so cute. A big thank you to Gunnar, who sends us a super chat as well. He says, Classic He-Man have both explicit moral messages as well as the message, buy our toys. They made it competently, which is why people liked it. I have a huge guilty pleasure for the original Masters of the Universe from the 80s. I loved that show. I loved the toys. I've still got them. They're all up on the shelf.
I I didn't watch Master of the Universe. I
I
suffered through
liked it.
Kevin Smith though, just to see
Yeah,
what it was
me.
about.
That was
Terrible.
that was a thing that happened. Yeah, thanks. And it's such a shame because again, that could have been something that could have been amazing. I love the animation.
The
I
animation was so
thought it was
good.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I love the character designs. I thought the cast was pretty good. I thought Lena Headey was great as Evil Lynn. She was probably my favourite.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's nothing to do with Masters of the Universe. It wasn't a He-Man show.
Yeah,
And if
he
they'd
was very
advertised,
absent from the show. But yeah, when the preview came out, I was like, this looks really good. The animation was
I loved it.
really good. The animation was so good. I was like, damn. But then it ended up being terrible. Terrible, terrible.
I think it killed the momentum as well because one, they released it in two parts. So you had
Mm-hmm.
like the part one and then you had the part two. And by the time part two came out, even though people were raging against part one, nobody cared about part
Nobody
two.
cared. Not even Kevin Smith. He like maybe
Exactly.
made one tweet about it. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's out. All right. See you
All
later.
right. Well done, Kevin. Yep, nobody cares. Good job. And a big, big thank you again to JPRPH1. He says, as Ray Davis says, give the people what they want. Absolutely. I can't agree with that more.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it goes back to what Steph was saying, you know, people just want good entertainment. They know these characters.
Yeah.
And we just want a little bit of escapism, I think, at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Exactly. No one wants to be preached to, especially when you go to the movies. If we want to be preached to, if we want to watch something that has to do with today's society, we'd go and watch a documentary that's, out in the theater or something like that. We wouldn't go and watch a superhero movie to be taught a lesson, so we can like be preached to and say that all women are good and they should be respected or blah blah blah, whatever the messages in that movie. But like we go for entertainment, we go for escapism, we go to laugh and to cry and to forget about what we're dealing with and actually watch something that takes us out of our lives and into this world, whatever we're watching. And now it's like you can't escape our world because they put it in the movie. It's so stupid.
Yes, and nothing kills a TV show or a film quite like injecting current politics. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I stand corrected. Sorry, sweetheart. He says, can I just say it's not jib, it's jib. Gibbering, Gibbons. It's an actual word. Gibbering. Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, honey. But thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. I do like that name. That is pretty cool. In fact, Stephen says Evil Lynn went full Evil Lynn.
Evelyn.
She did. Kevin Smith lied and his geek cred died. Absolutely. Yep. And Kevin Smith, I think he was one of those guys that people thought, he was kind of one of us. It was that kind of mentality that people had. It's like, oh.
I think he lost his geek cred when he started crying at like
everything.
Everything. The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, the Luke moment in Mandalorian. He cries at everything, and it kills me when he takes photos of himself crying, because the way he takes his pictures are so weird. They're like right here in your.
It is weird, isn't it?
Yeah, he takes the oddest photos.
I'm glad that he's healthy. I'm really glad that we didn't lose him. But he takes the really weird selfies, and then he wears clothes that still fit him when he was much, much bigger, but now they kind of hang off him. Yeah. So he looks like he's like a kid that's been dressed.
Yeah, he's always just like in there. I think Ryan made fun of him one time because he made fun of the angle that he takes his pictures, because he like stood up in his chair and he's just like, he takes it like this. Can you see my tear ducts? I'm crying. Can you see That's how he takes his photos. Like, let me make sure they see that I'm crying. Make sure they see my tear ducts.
Just kind of missed up a little bit. There we go. It's so weird. I was never the biggest fan of him, but I can appreciate his work. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And just quickly, let me say a massive thank you to Rod Thunderheart. Hello, sweetheart. He says, hail, Papa Valkyrie and my nerdy home. Wanted to drop a hello. Mexican Iron Man is reading my book. He loves it and will review. Midnight's Edge is interested. Nice. congratulations. Thank you, sweetheart. Rod Thunderheart is a fantastic author. I've had the pleasure of seeing his book as well. So that is amazing. Thank you, sweetheart. And Cavaltenio Cavarimanche has a very important question for both of us. Are Purple Valkyrie or Steph offended that their viewers might be pleasuring themselves thinking about them?
No.
No, go nuts.
Go nuts. It's natural.
Just don't send me a picture in the DMs, please. That's all I ask. Oh, it's so silly. Just quickly before we let you go, because I know you're incredibly busy, what was your take on this G4 thing? Do you think it's a storm in a teacup? Do you think she overreacted? Or do you think it was kind of carefully calculated to get this reaction from people?
It's not carefully calculated. I think that this is how she thinks. She's an activist. And I think that as long as they hire activists into a company, that this is what they're going to get. There's always going to be blowback because you have an activist and not like an avid player, someone who's incredibly into this world and would put what they're doing first and the company first, and gameplay, and is very knowledgeable. That's not what comes first to her. It's activism, the message, pushing an agenda. That's what's important to her, and that's why she has a big platform. That's what's important. She's going to use it for the message. She's going to use it to push whatever agenda it is that she's going to push. And it's just like the people who say oh, girls aren't active in this, girls aren't blah, 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 blah. There are plenty of girl gamers out there, plenty of girls who've been into it for a really long time. And the fact that she's offended because people don't think that she's as attractive as the previous host. It's sorry, honey, that's not our problem. That's a you problem. You shouldn't be taking it out on people. Deal with it yourself. Deal with it in your private life and move on. This isn't a my problem. This is not my problem that you have this issue, that you don't have this confidence in the way you're looking, that you feel like you have to measure up to other people that came before you. Not our problem. That's a you problem. Deal with it off camera. Don't make it everyone else's problem.
It was really weird, and I don't think she was ugly by any stretch of the imagination, at least not looks-wise, but when the personality came out, that's what was off-putting. It was the screechy, preachy spiel that she came out with, and that was no.
Yeah, it's very off-putting. It's okay, so not only are you not very good looking to other people, but you have a trashy personality. Well, good to know. Moving on. And you don't
good
want
luck
us
with that in the future.
Yeah, and you don't want us to watch. So perfect. All the more reason to just peace out like you asked us to.
Exactly. And I think that is probably the absolute best way to deal with this kind of thing. We've seen it time and time again. You don't like our project, don't buy it, don't watch it. Okay.
All right.
Can do.
Not a problem. But that doesn't mean that we can't talk about it, and we're going to talk about it.
Exactly.
And the fact that they're starting to block people, and people from I'm glad. I'm glad that people from now that G&G and Yellow Flash, Ryan, they're all making videos regarding this controversy. I'm glad that some of their fans are moving over and finding this, because
absolutely
it's what they want. They don't want it, again, like I said, nobody wants to be preached to. Nobody wants that. We just want a channel where we can find some entertainment. That's what they're supposed to be providing. And unfortunately, that she decided to take this moment to preach and be preachy, and everybody around her started clapping and agreeing with her. Nobody batted an eye. Nobody challenged her assessment, which is what people would do. And around you, they would challenge you and be like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Nobody challenged her. No one challenged her. And nobody said that, I think you're wrong, or I think maybe you have this point wrong. Nothing.
Yes.
No.
Nobody
challenged her.
Let her run with it.
Just let her go and clapped for her. And I think that's not what people want. No, nobody wants to be preached to. We just come there for entertainment, and the fact that they're moving over and finding G&G that way is really good. It's good because that's
it is.
that's what they want.
Yeah, and it's the absolute antithesis, as you say, of what geeks and gamers represent, because there's so many people that have diverse opinions. We have
Mm-hmm.
incredible ladies, we've got great guys. You know, more power to you. I just want to see you guys grow and get the kind of recognition that you deserve. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I think it's funny the fact that they started just yeeting everybody from the chat.
that was
That,
hilarious.
I was just like, what are they doing? And they're like, good job, mods. We have like 9-year-olds in the chat. You know, it's like, way to just insult a bunch. Like, she already insulted half your audience, right? She doesn't want them there. And now you're having your mods delete everything that isn't like, hi, welcome, praising you guys. And it's just really ridiculous. You know, I've been told, because I mod a lot of streams, been told, don't delete anything unless it's spam. That's it.
Exactly.
Or bots.
Or really offensive, you know, if someone's
Yeah.
being attacked. Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Don't
it's
delete anything
hilarious
unless
that
it's
it's
spam
a
or
meme.
bots are incredibly offensive. You know, so that's what I do. And sometimes like we have, and it kills me every time because there's always like one person in the chat, or like they'll DM me on Twitter, why did you delete me? Why did you time me out? I was like, I didn't time you out. And it's because not only are we there, but like the Google mods are there.
I hate those Google mods.
Yeah, and they won't say
yeah.
anything. They won't say anything, but they'll time people out. They'll time people out, and it's just like, I didn't time you out. It's not me.
And you can't even undo it either. You know, there's
You can't
just
undo
no
it.
way to,
I
you
don't
can't
even see it
circumvent
when
it.
it happens. Yeah. I don't. Usually, I'm able to see when someone is timed out or when someone is blocked from the channel. You know, I can see that. When I don't see it, it's not any of the mods that are in chat. It's a Google mod that has done it. It's Google, and it's so stupid.
And,
They yeeted me. Yeah, they yeeted me. They blocked me,
and
and
I think the funniest thing that's come out about it is that it's now a meme in loads of other chats. So you just get message deleted or
message deleted. I love everything that's like come out from it. So it's just kind of like message deleted by G4, message delete, brains deleted, wrong think deleted. Like they just put so much stuff in. It's so funny.
I love it, but that just proves, you know, that people are taking it. They're taking it to heart, but at the same time, people can mock them for being so damn stupid as to attack their audience.
I know. Yeah, it is a meme in the chat, and I love memes. I love memes so much, but yeah, it is a meme. So, and they can't. They have to take they take themselves so seriously. They can't.
Super serious.
Yes, they take themselves so seriously, and you know, I think that someone said that like they're trying to run, you know, because G4 was on TV, and they're trying to run it like they're still on TV, but they're not. You have a chat. You're going live. You have to focus on that. These are people. These are your fans with opinions.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't take it personally.
It's an audience, you know.
It's an audience.
It gives you a chance to interact with people, and I love to be able to do that.
Yeah, and that's something that could have been. That's something that I love as well. I love being able to interact, and the fact that they can interact with their fans in this way, and they chose instead to delete their fans, yeet their fans, yell at their fans, lecture their fans. The fact that they chose to do that instead of taking an advantage of the fan base and seeing that they're there interacting with them and being like, hey, welcome. It's a whole other thing that you could be doing, you know, but instead they're like, oh, no,
no, don't want to hear from the plebs.
We're not going to do that. Yeah. Like we don't need to hear you and what you have to say, because it's so odd the way they're doing the show. They're thinking like they can still do it like with like War said, like with commercial breaks, and you know,
like they've got a
they're
built-in
still,
audience. Yeah,
like they're still doing it like they're on television. You can't do it. That's not how it works. You're gonna have an audience there. They're gonna be in the chat. What a great way for you to interact with your audience. But instead they're just yeeting them, and they're praising their mods for yeeting the 9-year-olds. It's
the 9-year-olds. Yes,
it's so weird. It's so weird why it's so odd why they've chosen to do that, because it's not going to get you anywhere with your fan base. They're just going to leave, and they did. They're losing
exactly.
subs, and they did. They're leaving.
I think
they're like,
somebody said there's like 4K subs have dropped, but they haven't just dropped on, you know, the channel. They've doubled down everywhere, even on the Discords. They've locked down everything. There's just no back and forth anymore. It's
Nope.
so bizarre. They
No.
do not
And
want
it's
to hear it.
yeah, it's because it's the way they think. They live in an echo chamber. They just want everything to be an echo chamber. If you have wrong think, we're gonna eat you. And it's so weird to exist that way. I couldn't imagine.
I couldn't either. I love the opportunity, and we are so blessed to get to chat not just with each other, but with this incredible chat as well. We
Yeah.
have some amazing people.
And
Yeah.
I like talking to the chat because I know that like a lot of people are telling me like the Batman's gonna fail, the Batman's not. Why are you have hope for Robert Pattinson? I love talking to people and debating people. I debate Mara on the new. She got mad at me because I was like, it's not that bad. The new Batgirl's outfit. I was like, I can appreciate they took some inspiration. It's terrible. Blah. She got so angry that I didn't get so mad at the outfit, and I was just like, oh girl, God, you can have conversations and different opinions, and life goes on. We move on from it.
Crazy is that you can have a disagreement with someone but still remain friends? Who knew that was a thing? And let me just say a big thank you to Punk Model. Thank you, sweetheart. He said, thanks again for another good Sunday chat. And thank you for both taking the time and letting the chat sit in. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you, sweetheart. You guys are the best. I've been trying to catch as many comments as possible, but you guys have been absolute fire today. So thank you. Seriously, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah. I think it would be incredibly boring if there was no arguments, no other opinions. It's just like, oh, you liked it too? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how you get echo chambers. Exactly. Yeah. And I hate that. Before we wrap up, let me say first of all, thank you, Steph, so much for joining me today. This is one of the shows I was so looking forward to, and I couldn't. You wouldn't believe how excited I was when she said yes. I was like, thank you. This is awesome.
Yeah. I was saying in the green room, I was just like, I want to do more. I want to like stream more.
Yes.
Cause like I said, I was focusing a lot on Twitch, so I wasn't able to like put energy into anywhere else. And like this year I want to stream a lot more with other creators, and like I feel like going on Purple Valkyrie's stream is like a rite of passage, kind of like, and I told you this, kind of like getting a rose from Teresa as a super chat. It's like a little rite of passage. Yeah, it's like a rite of passage to me, in my mind at least, like to have a rose from, because I cried when I got a rose from Teresa, because I'm always in the chat like, thank you for your super chat, thank you for your super sticker, Teresa, thank you for your rose, with little roses. So like when I finally got my first rose from Teresa, I started crying, because to me it's like a little rite of passage. And then when you asked me to be on, I was like, oh my god, I've been waiting for you to ask me.
It's like, oh my god, if I'd known that I would have asked sooner.
Yeah, I don't like inviting myself onto streams though, so I was just like, I've been waiting for you to ask me, because it's like a little rite of passage for me. It's so neat.
That's amazing. It was my honor, so thank you so much, sweetheart. Before we wrap up and let everybody finish their Sunday and let you continue your Sunday, what have you got coming up, love?
Well, I stream every day on Twitch, except for Sundays, unless I miss a day during the week. But I do stream every day on Twitch, and I have streams every Saturday on either my channel or Mara channels. We rotate, and then just videos out on my channel on stuff that I want to talk about. So yeah, because I'm uploading a lot more on my channel now. Oh, and yes, I was thinking, because I created a second channel because my first channel just wasn't getting monetized. It took like over a year.
That was so weird. I remember when it finally did get monetized, I was thinking, what the hell took them so long?
I have no clue. I think like I got approved right before, I think like the pandemic happened. So people weren't at Google, but then other people, I kept seeing people just getting monetized, and I was just like, what is going on? So yeah, it just took so long, and then when they finally turned it on, they did it wrong. So it said monetized, but I had no way of turning ads on. I had no way of getting super chats. There's like that option. It just said you're a YouTube partner, but without the perks.
One's on YouTube. Slow clap.
Yeah, so that made it take even longer. And it was like right before one of my Saturday streams with Mara that I noticed, like, oh my god, it's on. Didn't get an email, didn't get anything. It was just like, it was just turned on all of a sudden. And it took so long that I would just stop checking. I used to check every week, every day, and then I would check every week, and then I would check like every other week, and then it just took so long that I just stopped checking.
You just kind of get on with it and just move on.
Yeah. And people were like, start a Patreon, do Streamlabs, and I was like, no, I want my monetization. I feel like, you know, I want to wait for that. And I was like, I want to, that's like my, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, I want to earn your super chats. And they're like, you've earned it. Start a Patreon. So it took me such a long time, but when it finally happened, it was a surprise, and it was just a stream with me and Mara, and I spent like half the time off camera crying because I was finally, you know, things were finally like working. So
I was so glad. I remember when you tweeted it out, I was like, oh my god, thank god, it's finally gone through.
Yeah.
And Soul Assassin, yes, Mama Susan is jealous of my nerdy home. Absolutely.
I don't know why it took so long. It's so weird. And I've had, it took so long. And it was Anna, that Star Wars girl. She like has someone who works or knows someone who works at Google, and she was just like, I'm gonna message them and ask them to like really look into your account. And then again, like so many people practically every weekend kept tweeting at Team YouTube on Twitter, so much attention to it, and they finally took it seriously because we have like Anna, you know, on in the DMs to YouTube, and then everybody's just tweeting it out, and they finally looked into it. But it got to a point where I was just like, I'm just gonna stream because I have fun streaming and I have fun making videos. Just do it. I'll just keep doing it. But at the same time, it's also in the back of your mind, like you see so many people getting monetized and you want to be happy for them, and but it's just kind of like, what is taking so long for me?
Yeah, why?
You know,
why have I been forgotten?
Yeah, and I try to just like move past that feeling and just applaud other people.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Let me say a massive, massive thank you to Steph for joining me today. If you're not subscribed, all the links are in the description below, and they've been put in the chat as well. So big, big thank you to Chris for putting those links out. Thank you. Really appreciate that. As you say, please subscribe, because the Steph has got some fantastic videos coming out. You're going to be doing more live streams as well, did you say?
Yeah, well, I stream every day on Twitch, but
Nice.
on my second channel, I'm gonna try and like cut up a lot of my Twitch streams and upload them there on my second channel, because it's just been kind of sitting there, not really doing anything. So I want to do that.
It's hard, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, it is. And then I want to do. I also work on Ryan's channel, because I edit some of his videos and on his live channel and do that. I'm his mod, and I produce a lot of his live streams. And then I'm also with John Bartolo, who's a really awesome guy. When we were in Vegas, that's where I met him, and I've just kind of kept in touch with him. I like to keep in touch with people who inspire me. You know.
Yes, he seems like a really cool guy.
He is.
I watched the stream that you guys did.
Yeah, he is. He's a really cool guy. He's very laid back, but he's achieved so much. And I was just like, you know what? You're trying to get into the YouTube space, so I really want to help you do that. How can I help you do that? So yeah, he's given me a lot of advice, and he's given me a lot of advice, and he's kind of pushed me to do more, to do more. So that's why I'm like, I want to do a lot more now than I did last year. So yeah, it's really awesome. And he's a really cool guy. He's really laid back.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much what I do. I primarily do kind of live streams, but what I really want to get into and kind of learn is editing, and then learning how to do kind of short videos. I think that's something that just for me, I need to learn how to do. So that's kind of my goal for this year. That's branching out and doing something a little bit different. So I'm looking forward to it. But it's like you say, it's all kind of, it's a learning curve. It's kind of trial and error, and just
Yeah.
seeing what sticks, and mostly it's all about having fun, I found.
I think so too. Yeah, I think if you're not having fun, then stop what you're doing and try something different.
Exactly. So, guys, let me say a huge thank you to my amazing guest today. Thank you, honey. I really appreciate it.
Of course, it was my pleasure. I'm so excited.
A huge thank you to everybody who joined us today. You guys were on absolute fire as always. We had some amazing comments. Let me say a huge thank you to everybody who sent super chats, who sent super stickers. You guys are the best as always. I will be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'm going to be talking about, but I will be back doing another live stream. And we've got plenty of stuff coming up next week as well. So keep your eyes peeled. And guys, have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. And no doubt we will see each other very soon. So a big thank you and take care.
Bye.